It's a whole new game. Let's see what happens.
So 3-1 and 3-1. The scores in favour of China in the first two matches. And Wang Liqin, who looks very pumped up, the world number 3, former world number 1, looking to seal victory here against Hyuk.
Big problems there for Hyuk. Hyuk very, very good with forehand topspin. But of course, if there's a master at forehand topspin to forehand topspin, a master at counter topspin, you're looking at him now, Wang Liqin.
Well, Wang Liqin, as I mentioned, 30 years old. For many racket sports, you would consider that in the veteran stakes, but not in table tennis.
Not outside China.
I guess the problem for the Chinese players is not so much their age, but the fact of the huge queue of players behind them coming up through the ranks. Jan Ove Voldner, though, of Sweden, who's...
Yes. I think it's very, very difficult to compare because the Chinese will produce their champions at a much younger age than the Europeans will. I think that you will see Chinese champions at 18, 19 years old in the case of Goyue, whereas if it's a European, we're maybe looking 10 years later.
Well, would you say then that it's all the more remarkable that Wang Liqin is still playing at the top level, world number 3 at the age of 30?
Well, he's one of the elder statesmen now of the Chinese team, but I mean, he is still a great player. Had his bad results over the year. I mean, 2003 quarter-final lost to Werner Schlager when he was just about home and dry, but came back strong to win the men's singles title in Shanghai and retained it in Zagreb. So you have to give credit to him. It's a French player, Damien Eloi, used to cause Wang Liqin heaps of problems with the service, but then he went back, did his homework and came back stronger. So I think you have to give Wang Liqin great credit. He's had his defeats, but he's come back stronger and well, one of the greatest players of all time. I think if we look at world great players, if Wang Liqin could win the Olympic title, then that puts him into that bracket. 3 times men's singles world champion, that's very, very special. Never the winner of the World Cup, which is quite incredible.
It's a bit of a curse, isn't it, for players in any racket sport to be referred to as the greatest player who never won.
That's right.
A particular tournament.
Ivan Lendl at tennis never won Wimbledon. Ken Rosewall going hundreds of years back, never won it.
Absolute, yes, there's another one.
The end of my knowledge of tennis.
5-10. So Joe has managed to slow him down just a little.
It's difficult to know what Hyuk can do to win the match.
Yes.
You feel if it's counter topspin, Wang Liqin's the favourite. If it's defence, Wang Liqin's the favourite. Very tough job for the Korean coaching camp.
So 11-5, the first game goes the way, and a very quick one as well, I should say, goes the way of Wang Liqin.
And of course, I suspect that's why Joseph has been put in the number 3 place, just to play the one match. They feel he cannot win against any of them, I think. Whereas Lee Jung-woo, Danger Man, so just on his day, he had a sniff. Same with Yoo Sung-min, just had that sniff of a chance. And when we played 2 years ago in Bremen, then Joseph did not play in the final. They played Lee Jung-woo in the final. With Oh Sang-un and Yoo Sung-min. And again, quite surprisingly, 2006, the first time the Korean men had ever got to the men's team final, ever. great players over the years, but maybe just lacked the number 3 in the team. Kim Taek-soo, fantastic player. Yoo Nam-kyu, fantastic player, but maybe just lacked that slight depth.
So underway in game 2.
All 3 Chinese that we've seen, they've all come out absolutely determined, pumped up. They know what this means. Thank you very much.
Well, this might relax the crowd a little more because Wang Liqin seems to be playing in a completely different class.
Hyuk, when serving, has got to take big risks and serve and try and play his own forehand topspin and just try to upset the rhythm of Wang Liqin if he can, but that's easier said than done. It's easy sitting here. A tremendous defensive play, but that forehand topspin is not going to miss. And of course, Wang Liqin is one of the very, very safest of table tennis players. Just put it into the backhand time and time again. Wait for the opportunity and then good night. Thank you. Played into long pimples, top spinning down the backhand side. Wang Liqin knows exactly the spin that's on the ball. The long pimples is a passive rubber, it just answers the spin. And he's very comfortable. Just keep it down the backhand, wait for the opportunity. Whoops. Maybe the first unforced error is made. But I've watched Wang Liqin play Ho Ying Chao, who's a little more clever on the backhand defence, and Ho Ying Chao has no chance against Wang Liqin.
And Ian, how's the calendar looking leading up to the Beijing Olympics? This would be the last major event before Beijing? Or?
Well, it's the last world title event before Beijing, but of course we have the ITTF Pro Tour, and that is a very, very prestigious series of tournaments, and we can liken that to the ITF Tour or the LTA Tour. And 2 weeks' time we're in Kuwait and then Qatar, and then the tour will move to South America, to Brazil and Chile, and then to Asia, to China, to Korea and Japan, and then about 4 weeks break of major events, the Beijing Olympics, and then the tour will start again. Very much in Europe in October, November and December.
Well, look at this. Up 8-2, and he's about to serve as well, so this game slipping away, this match in fact slipping away from Jo-Se-Hu.
That's classic defensive play against classic topspin play.
(9-2). After winning this, Wang Liqin just one game away from handing the title to China, and he's up 10-2. It must be an awful position, Ian, for a player like Jo-Se-Hu to be in right now.
Oh, it's impossible. There's really nothing the coach can tell him. I think go and have 5 minutes of enjoyment.
I mean, there you go, 11-2. There doesn't even seem to be a point calling a timeout. You don't have to call a timeout, do you?
No, you don't have to call a timeout. I mean, really now, Jo-Se-Hu is in an impossible situation. The only advice the coach can give really is when he's serving. When he's serving, he has to serve, take a big risk and try and play his forehand topspin. But, I mean, that's easy said sitting here. Very difficult out there. And Wang Liqin has to make mistakes against his defence, and Wang Liqin just is not making mistakes. Now you're 2 games to nil ahead. Your team is 2 matches to nil ahead. You're in a very, very good situation. But I was the England coach once when a young man had to play Jan-Ove Volner, maybe the greatest player of all time, and the young man said to me, "I've never seen Volner play." I said, "Well, you've got a chance now. He's standing at the other end of the table." Well, the young Englishman won the first 2 points, went 2-0 ahead, and then Volner, we played to 21 in those days, won the next 18. And the young man came back to me, Jonathan, and said, "What do I do?" So I said, "Just be an advantage if you could get one of his services back." All I could say is go and enjoy it. It's a fantastic experience. You are playing the greatest player of all time. Express yourself. Enjoy it. Show him what you can do.
You mentioned the Swedes, Jan-Ove Volner and Jørgen Persson as well. Now, we haven't completely seen the last of them.
No, Jørgen Persson is still here, and Jørgen Persson has qualified for the Beijing Olympic Games. So he has played in every Olympic Games.
At the age of?
He will be 42. So he played in Seoul, and there's another player who's done the same called Zoran Primorac from Croatia. He played when he was 18. I think he was 18 in 1988 when he played. So I'll leave you to do the maths as to how old Zocchi is.
Well, it'll certainly get them up in the. It'll certainly get them up in the record books, perhaps, with a few other elite players from different sports.
That's right. Oh, time out for Korea, but there seems to be words of absolute magic. If this coach can pull this one out, then he's some coach. Made no mistake, there's a massive amount of backspin on that ball when Hyuk plays. I mean, you need 2 hands and a crane to lift the ball over the net, and Wang Liqin is making it look so easy.
Well, the Chinese must have gone to tremendous effort in Beijing for their table tennis venue. They'll obviously be out to win as many medals in as many sports as they can, but table tennis is arguably the jewel in the crown for them as far as Olympic sports go. Without
doubt. I was at the test event. I spent some 2 weeks in Beijing at the venue in December, and everybody told me that the media coverage for the test events we had was greater than any other test event that had been held. And that was some 18, 19 events. And again, the place was packed. Different style of venue, much smaller than here in Guangzhou, but the seating much higher. Much more of a very good theatre effect.
I don't think many people realise that, forget about the Beijing Olympics, at every Olympics, table tennis is one of the first events to sell out as an Olympic event.
And very high on the television stakes. I think something like on television coverage, something like 4th in Athens. And of course, if you can split aquatics into the various disciplines, then I think table tennis moved into about 3rd place.
Wow.
Yeah, great coverage in Asia, of course. There we are, just top spin down the backhand and just wait and wait and wait, and he makes a mistake.
Well, he smiled when he lost the last point, but not that one. Yes, he's perhaps thinking, OK, I'm 2 up. I just need to close this out. He's still leading 4-3, though.
Well, the Chinese are so technically good. And Yu Sung-min should, if you can stay there at 9-all, be in there at 8-all, maybe just they get a little bit tense, and that's your chance. And I think we saw it with Li Jiawei last night when she played Go Yue. You know, she was always thereabouts when it was close when she won. But once any Chinese plays away at 4-love, 5-love, then it's a long shot. Never say never, but it's a very long shot. Very good topspin there, good change from Wang Liqin. You see he played the forehand topspin into the indecision point, played towards the elbow of the playing arm of Hyuk, forced a weak return, won the point. Down the backhand, he knows the spin on the ball. One to the middle, one into the hip again, same tactic, wait for the right one, thank you, and he knows it. Look at the smile on his face. Stan Laurel has come back. For me, his smile is just that of Stan Laurel from Laurel and Hardy, I'm sorry. There, he gambled, and he has to do that. He has to take risks. And the rubber on Joseph's forehand is not as fast as rubber on Wang Liqin's forehand, so the action has got to be a very, very dynamic forehand topspin stroke. Very dynamic indeed. She's never played the forehand topspin out to the forehand, because otherwise it's forehand topspin to forehand topspin. That's where Joseph's dangerous, but I still think if you play forehand topspin to forehand topspin, I'd back Wang Liqin. Good night.
Yes. Well, they made a vain attempt at it. And Jose Hyuk now serving at 6-8.
Jose caused some surprise in 2003 when he reached the men's singles final at the World Championships in Bercy, Paris.
Off the edge. And on Joe's serve as well.
It's just a matter of time now, and not much time. Correct tactics. I shall not miss.
Liqin, it just seems too simple. Okay, box him up on his backhand. Why hasn't Joe been able to get out of that position and try and turn the tables and do exactly the same thing to his Chinese opponent?
I don't think he really can. His style of play doesn't suit that, and you have to understand the amount of spin that Wang Liqin's putting on that ball. If you and me try to do that against Joseph, the ball would go in the net.
There it is. It's all over. 11-6. You could see Wang Liqin just pausing a little before